Welcome back to Girl Talk. Joining me now is DUrban of Monster Tree Service, and this is his first time here. He's a new business owner and new permanent resident to the island. So welcome, Dennis. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So tell us a little bit about Monster. I mean, you've just started, you're March 1st, and you're a full-service tree service business.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about it.
So we just started operations on March 1st. Monster Tree Service is actually part of a national chain. It's a franchise.
Okay.
So I have a big support structure behind me of tree care professionals. I hired locally 4 individuals, 3 of them with military background, which is very important to me. I find they have the great leadership qualities that I'm looking for. They also provide great customer service. We're serving Jasper and Beaufort counties. My territory runs from Hilton Head up to the other side of 95, and then over to Port Royal on the east, and then over to the Georgia line on the west.
Wow, that's a big territory.
It's keeping us busy.
I was going to say, it's going to keep you very busy. So now, you know, we've talked a lot on the show today about spring, and it's here, and you know, that's got to mean that people are thinking about spring cleaning not only in their house, but in their yard. So are you finding that you're really busy at the moment?
Yeah, we're very busy. In fact, a lot of people are starting to do the spring housekeeping projects. A lot of trimming work going on.
Right.
People removing overgrowth that happened during the winter months. A lot of new people moving into the area that are getting to their home and they're looking around and saying, boy, I wish I would have done that. Or, so we're responding to a lot of those requests as well.
Well, something we don't have a shortage of, even with what happened with Hurricane Matthew and losing a lot of trees then, is trees. I mean, we have a lot of trees, but there's also things around what you can and can't do with trees and taking them down and trimming and doing those kinds of things. Tell us a little bit about that, because I think, especially for people that are new to the area,
right,
they don't understand that you can't just go out and cut down any tree that you want to.
Correct. So I have a trained arborist on staff. Very familiar with trees and how they grow and what can and cannot be done on the island. Each of the individual communities have a little bit of a different flavor to their permitting process. Mm-hmm. But typically what will happen is if a homeowner wants to do something with a tree, they'll have to go through their local community first, get permission to have an arborist come out and take a look at it, deem it whether it is a danger tree or if there's something physically wrong with the tree before they can take it down.
And obviously, when you take a tree down, there is a stump. So I know that some tree services deal with the stumps and some don't. Do you?
Yes, we do. So again, full service. We can take a tree down, but we also have stump grinding equipment that can remove the tree down, the stump of the tree down to about 2 feet below the surface of the soil. Nice.
That's obviously full service, like you said. Tell us a little bit about what somebody might be looking at if they're going out in their yard and thinking, you know, not just that this is a nuisance tree or that I don't like the way this looks. What should they be looking at in terms of branches touching their roof or roots maybe going into the foundation? Talk to us a little about what we should be looking for.
Yeah, so just what you mentioned, it's overgrowth, branches coming in contact with the buildings. A lot of insurance companies will require that any overgrowth that is overhanging a rooftop be trimmed back. Not only that, but it leaves a lot of debris on the roof itself, and that debris over time collects and it causes damage to the shingles. So stuff like that. Structural damage to a tree, definitely. Lightning strikes are a big issue. Anything that looks like it could be rotted out could provide a dangerous situation.
Well, and if you don't have a trained eye, you might not know that something is dangerous. And we are headed into hurricane season yet again.
Yes.
Just keeps coming around every year. So what is something important that, you know, maybe somebody would have you come out that you might be able to catch that they wouldn't?
Yeah, so again, I have a trained arborist on staff, and he's very good at assessing the condition of a tree, and will be able to point out to an individual anything that they could entertain taking care of while we're on the property, serving their immediate needs. So things like rot on a tree, areas where there may be animal infestation, some of those pesky critters burrow into the tree and cause weak points in an overhanging branch.
Okay. So what made you decide to get into this business?
That's interesting. So I was recently left my previous role as a CFO for an electric utility business. And I moved to Hilton Head and knew that that's where I wanted to stay. And I was looking at franchise opportunities specific to the Hilton Head area. And as I was looking at Monster Tree, I couldn't help but notice that every morning when I was on the computer, I could hear chainsaws and chippers running all around me, and began to notice how much tree work was really going on. And it's not only moving into a person's property and taking down a tree, but there's a lot of upkeep and maintenance around the trees and shrubbery as well. So it looked like a great business opportunity from that perspective. But also, I grew up in the utility space. I actually did a lot of operations work. So the combination of my finance background and operations background just made this feel like it was a marriage made in heaven.
Do you also do, we've talked a lot about residential tree service, do you also go into the commercial realm as well?
We do. It's specifically around golf course maintenance.
Okay.
We recently did a job at Congaree, which is outside of, on the other side of Route 95. Take down trees, help them manicure trees, but also do physical assessment of the health of trees, because the last thing you want on a golf course is to have a tree coming down and interrupting, the clientele's privilege of playing.
Right. And like I said before, we have no shortage of trees. We also have no shortage of golf courses. So you're always going to be busy, I think. How does somebody find you if they're interested in having you come out and take a look at their property, or if they know specifically that they want something done?
Sure. So we have a website set up. It's ymonster.com/Hilton Head. They can also find us on Facebook. We're also visible through Google Ads. So, and our office phone number is listed there, along with the way to get in contact with us. We provide prompt and free estimates, so we pride ourselves on answering the phone and getting back to you.
Okay, yeah, that was going to be my next question, because you guys are, I'm sure, very busy, and sometimes it's hard to get in touch with tree services, I will say. So if somebody does want an assessment, how long is the lead time? In other words, if I called today, would it be like next week, or is it a couple days from now? What kind of a situation are we looking at there?
Sure. So for the estimate, we'll be out within a day or so.
Okay.
We are beginning to get pretty busy, so it could be a 2-week waiting period before the actual service is provided.
Okay.
But if it's an emergency situation, we respond to those immediately.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Dennis. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope to see you again. And thank you for being with us for Girl Talk, and we'll see you next time.